Some people just have to learn respect the hard way. They seem to think that they can get away with anything, and that the consequences of their actions will never catch up with them. But they're wrong. It's always a wise decision to be respectful to everyone for one simple reason. You can never really know who you're messing with. Louis DeWall was a prime example of one of those men who felt like he could get away with anything. And when he thought he was dealing with people who he judged as beneath him, he got even more cocky and entitled. But airports and flights were like a feast to him. He felt like he had a license to be obnoxious and rude to everyone. After all, he would never have to see all those people again. Also, he felt justified in acting that way. After all, airports are filled with people of little class, tourists with poor and plebeian tastes, prole expats who were unable to make a decent living in their own country. The families of those prole expats, who always seemed to be ludicrously lost. Louis DeWall was a very successful businessman who owned his own clothing company. He had always felt very superior to all those people, and he never thought that karma might have something in the books for him. His favorite sensation was feeling assured that he was a gift to the world and that people weren't worthy of his presence and attention. That's why he gasped when he saw who would be sitting next to him at the first-class department of the plane. It was a mother with 3 children. Louis hated children. He found them too loud, annoying, and disrespectful. But that wasn't the worst part of it. The woman didn't seem like she belonged in first class at all. She looked worse than a tourist. She was wearing some brandless sweatpants, a hoodie, and her hair was tied in a knot. Would he really have to spend the rest of his flight with those people? Immediately, he turned to one of the stewardesses. He had a business meeting scheduled during the flight. He wouldn't be able to hear or make himself heard to his business partners with a bunch of yelling kids by his side. He asked if the mother and her children could be moved to some other seats, preferably in tourist class, he thought to himself, and the stewardess' response was categorical. "Of course not, sir," she replied. "They booked their seats just the same as you, and as you see, the plane is already full. We can't move them." "But this can't be," roared DeWall. "I'm having a very important meeting and—" "I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing I can do," said the stewardess, who then left, displeased with DeWall's entitled attitude. Louis DeWall felt even more furious when that mother tried to make conversation with him. "Hello, sir. I'm sorry to bother you, but there's nothing I can do either. See, all the other seats are taken. I'll try to make sure that my children are quiet during the flight so they don't disturb your meeting." "You better do," said DeWall. "It's a very important deal that I have to talk about. I can't afford to lose it." The woman asked DeWall what was his business. A part of DeWall felt annoyed by the woman's curiosity and chattiness, but the other felt glad to have an occasion to boast about his high-end clothing company. "Oh, that's very nice," said the mother. "I work in fashion too. I own a little boutique in my hometown. Maybe I could sell some of your designs." DeWall couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Lady, are you out of your mind? My business only deals with the best and most renowned retailers in this country. We're a high-end brand. It's not something a small-town shop owner would need to concern herself about." Humiliated, the lady stopped trying to talk to DeWall. DeWall felt a little more relieved now that he had the occasion to assert his superiority over someone else. But karma had something in the books for him. The pilot of the plane was no other than the mother's sister. She had been informed of all the conversation by one of the stewardesses and felt enraged by it. Nobody had the right to mock people so gratuitously. And considering that it was her sister that we're talking about, now she had reasons to take it personally. And that's what she decided to do. Right before taking off, a voice made an announcement through the plane speakers. "Mr. DeWall, we regret to inform you that there has been a problem with your luggage. Please get out of the plane and talk to the airport employee that's waiting for you outside so you can settle this matter. We'll wait for you." Alarmed, DeWall ran through the hall towards the plane's door and quickly went down the stairs. What could have happened? He had his most important designs for the upcoming season in his suitcase. He promised himself that if those useless airport workers had lost his luggage, he would sue them and leave them all jobless. But that was not what had happened. There was nobody waiting for him near the plane. He looked left and right, but nobody seemed to be expecting him. The plane took off and DeWall was left in the airport. It was the mother's sister, the pilot, who had made the fake announcement as a means to get rid of that unpleasant and uncivil passenger. Finally, DeWall had to stay and have his meeting at the airport, with plenty of families and noise around him. It's not known what happened to the pilot after she decided to get some payback on DeWall. What do you think? Was the pilot's revenge unjustified or unfair, or do you think that DeWall had it coming?